What does it mean to be a godly wife according to the Bible? This is a question that resonates deeply in our society today as we navigate the complexities of marriage and faith. In this discussion, we'll explore the virtues and qualities that the Bible outlines for a godly wife. From righteousness to love, submission, forgiveness, and surrender to God's will, these are the cornerstones of a sacred union that not only strengthens the bond of marriage, but also brings us closer to spiritual fulfillment. This topic is of profound importance as it shapes our understanding of marital roles and responsibilities and guides us to lead a life that honors God. So, are you ready to delve deeper into this fascinating subject? Let's embark on this enlightening journey to understand the biblical teachings on being a godly wife. Before we go any further, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. The Bible speaks volumes about the virtue of righteousness. It underscores the importance of this virtue in the life of a godly wife. The essence of righteousness, as depicted in the Bible, is being honest, fair, and just in all our dealings. In the book of Proverbs, the Bible paints a vivid picture of a virtuous wife who embraces righteousness. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. This scripture is a testament to the transformative power of righteousness in a marriage. It's an assurance that a godly wife who upholds righteousness will bring peace and pleasantness into her home. Righteousness, in the context of marriage, extends beyond being morally upright. It permeates every aspect of the marital relationship. It's about being honest with your spouse even when the truth is uncomfortable. It's about being fair in the division of roles and responsibilities, recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of each other. It's about seeking justice, not just for oneself, but for the family as a whole. Righteousness is not a passive attribute, but an active pursuit. It involves making choices that honor God and, by extension, honor the marriage. It's a commitment to do what's right, even when it's hard. It's about standing firm in truth, even when the world encourages compromise. In the Old Testament, we find the story of Sarah, the wife of Abraham. Sarah's life was marked by her unwavering faith in God and her commitment to righteousness. Despite the trials and tribulations she faced, Sarah chose to honor God through her actions, setting a powerful example of a godly wife who values righteousness. In the New Testament, we see the Apostle Peter highlighting the virtue of a godly wife. He encourages wives to be like Sarah, who obeyed Abraham and called him her Lord. Her beauty, Peter explains, was not in her outward appearance, but in her inner character, her righteous heart. So embracing righteousness means to live in accordance with God's standards. It means to make choices that reflect God's love and justice. It's about being a beacon of truth and integrity in a world that often values deceit and compromise. A godly wife strives to uphold righteousness in her life, setting a strong moral compass for her family. It is through her righteous actions and decisions that she serves as a model of virtue, guiding her family towards a path of faithfulness and godliness. Love, a powerful force, is another virtue a godly wife embodies. It's an emotion that transcends the physical, reaching into the very soul. In the life of a godly wife, love holds a position of paramount importance. It's not just about romantic feelings or affectionate gestures. Love, as portrayed in the Bible, is a commitment, a choice to put someone else's needs above your own. Let's consider some biblical examples. The love between Ruth and Naomi, for instance, is a timeless illustration of selfless love. Ruth chose to stay with her mother-in-law, forsaking her own land and people because of love. Her story teaches us that love is loyal, steadfast, and self-sacrificing. And then there's the love of the Proverbs 31 woman. Her love for her family was shown through her tireless work, her nurturing care, and her wise counsel. Her life is a testament that love is diligent, nurturing, and wise. In the famous love chapter, 1 Corinthians 13, the Apostle Paul gives us an even deeper understanding of what love is. He tells us that love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. By embodying these traits, a godly wife's love becomes a force that can withstand any storm, overcome any obstacle. It's a love that nurtures, that forgives, that hopes, and that never gives up. It's a love that reflects the love of God himself. A godly wife's love mirrors the love of God, enriching her marriage and family life. It's a love that is patient, that is kind, that is not easily angered, and that always perseveres. It's a love that, in its strength and gentleness, has the power to transform hearts and lives. Submission, often misunderstood, holds significant importance in the Bible. It's a term that has been twisted and contorted, leaving many with a distorted view of its true meaning. But in the context of a godly marriage, submission is not about becoming a doormat or accepting abuse. Quite the contrary, it's about mutual respect and surrendering to God's will. Let's delve into this principle with an open heart and let's unravel its true essence. You see, the Bible teaches us that submission is a two-way street. It's not just about wives submitting to their husbands, but about husbands also submitting to their wives. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 21 says, "Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ." It's about respecting each other's roles and responsibilities, about working together as a cohesive unit, a team, if you will. Submission is also about surrendering to God's will, putting our trust in his divine plan. It's about acknowledging that God knows what's best for us and our marriages. We see this beautifully illustrated in the life of Sarah, the wife of Abraham. Despite the uncertainties, Sarah submitted to God's will, trusting in his promises. Her submission was not a sign of weakness, but of great strength and faith. And let's not forget, submission does not mean enduring abuse. The Bible never condones mistreatment or violence in any form. If you find yourself in such a situation, seek help immediately. Remember, God values you and wants you to live in peace and safety. In a godly marriage, submission is about love, respect, and trust. It's about setting aside our ego, valuing our partner's perspective and working together for a common goal. It's about seeking God's guidance and surrendering to his will. A godly wife understands the true essence of submission, enhancing harmony and unity in her marriage. She sees submission not as a burden but as a blessing, a way to grow closer to her husband and to God. It's a principle that, when understood and applied correctly, contributes to a marriage full of love, respect, and mutual fulfillment. Forgiveness, a divine act, is a key quality of a godly wife. This quality, often overlooked, is a cornerstone in the foundation of a harmonious and loving marriage. It's about releasing the burdens of anger, resentment, and bitterness and replacing them with understanding, compassion, and love. In the Bible, we find numerous instances where forgiveness is emphasized. When Peter asked Jesus how many times he should forgive his brother who sinned against him, Jesus responded, "Not 7 times, but 77 times." This profound biblical teaching serves as a reminder that forgiveness is not a one-time act, but an ongoing process. It's a commitment to let go of grudge, to choose love over hatred, and peace over conflict. Now, this doesn't mean that a godly wife should tolerate wrongdoing or abuse. Forgiveness is not about accepting or condoning harmful behavior. It's about freeing oneself from the shackles of resentment and bitterness. It's about choosing not to let someone else's actions dictate your emotional state. A godly wife knows that forgiveness is a means to heal, not just herself, but also her relationship with her spouse. It's an act of love, an act of kindness, an act of grace, and it's also an act of strength. It takes courage to forgive, to let go of past hurts and to choose love instead. In a marriage, misunderstandings and disagreements are bound to occur, but when a godly wife chooses to practice forgiveness, she creates an environment of understanding and love. She creates a space where her family can grow and thrive, unburdened by the weight of resentment or anger. A godly wife practices forgiveness, paving the way for healing and reconciliation within her family. Forgiveness, my friends, is a powerful tool that can transform relationships and bring about a profound sense of peace and contentment. It's a divine act, an act of love, an act of grace, and it's a key quality of a godly wife. Surrendering to God's will is the ultimate pursuit of a godly wife. As we delve into this profound concept, it's essential to realize that surrendering to God's will is more than simply a passive acceptance of circumstances. It's an active commitment to seeking and following God's guidance in every aspect of life, including marriage. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to the strength found in trusting God's plan. In the Bible, we find numerous examples of individuals who chose to surrender to God's will, often against societal norms or personal desires. Consider Esther, who risked her life for the welfare of her people, trusting in God's plan, or Ruth, who chose to leave her homeland and follow Naomi, placing her trust in God's will rather than her own understanding. A godly wife, in the same vein, seeks to honor God in her marriage and in all aspects of her life. She acknowledges that she doesn't have all the answers and that her understanding is limited. She understands that her plans may not always align with God's plans, and she is willing to let go of her own desires to embrace God's will. Surrendering to God's will involves daily, moment-by-moment decisions. It requires a heart that is willing to listen, a spirit that is ready to obey, and a mind that is open to God's promptings. It's about seeking God's guidance in small and big decisions, in joys and in struggles, in times of peace and in times of turmoil. A godly wife surrendering to God's will becomes a beacon of divine light in her family. She brings peace where there is strife, love where there is hate, and wisdom where there is confusion. Through her surrender to God's will, she becomes a living testament to God's love, grace, and faithfulness. This surrender to God's will is not a one-time act, but a lifelong journey. It's a journey filled with moments of joy and moments of pain, moments of certainty and moments of doubt. But in each of these moments, the godly wife can find peace in the knowledge that she is walking in God's will, guided by His divine wisdom and unfailing love. A godly wife surrendering to God's will becomes a beacon of divine light in her family. Being a godly wife is a journey, not a destination. As we wrap up this exploration, let's remember the key points that illuminate the path of this journey. First, we discussed the virtue of righteousness. Being righteous doesn't mean being perfect. It's about striving to live with honesty, integrity, and a heart that seeks to honor God in all we do. Next, we talked about the power of love. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast. Love is at the heart of a godly marriage, and it's a love that goes beyond feelings. It's a choice, a commitment. Then we touched on the principle of submission. This is not about servitude or being less than. It's about recognizing the divine order in marriage and working together as a team, with mutual respect and consideration. We also delved into the act of forgiveness. To forgive is to let go of resentment and grudges. It's a powerful act of love that heals and restores peace. In a marriage, forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a constant practice. Finally, we explored the concept of surrendering to God's will. This means trusting in God's plan, even when things don't go as we expect. It's about acknowledging that God knows best and allowing Him to guide our lives and our marriages. In essence, being a godly wife goes beyond the wedding vows. It's a continuous pursuit of godliness in all aspects of life. It's a daily commitment to honor God, love and support the husband, and grow together in faith. Remember, the journey of being a godly wife is unique for each one of us. It's filled with moments of joy, challenges, learning, and growth. And through it all, our faith becomes the anchor that holds us steady. Did you find this video useful? Please leave a comment below and share your experience of being a Christian wife to your husband. Together, we can learn and grow in our spiritual journeys.